So our new topic today is statistics, which means handling data for some of you. And statistics is an amazingly interesting area of maths. In fact, it's probably the one area of maths that we should study more of in school. Because when you take something and you try and argue with words, and you try and communicate with a point, you try and justify with adjectives, what you don't have is the same clarity as you do with numbers. So, is it hot in here or not? Well, someone might go, it's very hot. Let's open a window. But 23 degrees, that is indisputable. And the power of number is that you can grasp an idea in a crystal clear way. Or is that true? In the time that we live now, with fake news, people are fooled all the time. And I'm going to give you a classic example of how you should not trust any information you're ever given. So this is a little known fact about Sweden. 99.9% of Swedish people have an above average number of legs. Now I know what you're thinking. He's lost the plot today. What's going on here? You can't have an above average number of legs. Or can you? This statement is 100% true. And simultaneously, 100% useless. Pause the video now to stop and have a think about how this statement is true. Well, I'll tell you what it's not. There are not loads of three-legged people walking around in Sweden. Now, Sweden gets a reputation for people being happy, easygoing, but they're not lucky enough to be blessed in ways any more than everywhere else. There are no tripods wandering around in Sweden. That is not true. So what's going on in Sweden? Well, I'll be honest with you. What's happening in Sweden is happening everywhere. You can change this and you could say Polish people. You could change it to say American people. You can do any country you want. The truthful part and the useless part collide somewhere else. So where is the useless part of this statement? Where is the mislead? Because this is true. Almost everybody in almost every country has an above average number of legs. How? So, let's take this sentence and break it down. 99.9%. We should be happy with this idea because that is just a percentage. We're happy that people means humans, it means like you and I. And it doesn't matter which nation you pick. We're happy that legs mean legs. Okay, your standard person has two. That's what we think. So, where in this sentence is the issue? Average. Average is the problem. This video is about misunderstanding of words and key things that allow us to be tricked every day, whether it's the media, whether it's an advertiser, whether it's your friend, your parent. We are tricked every day by simple statements. Now, people like Ben Goldacre look at this in science. Hans Rosling looks at this in other walks of life. There are lots of famous people, and you can find amazing videos on how misleading statistics is. So what's wrong with this word? And why has it fooled us? And why are we sitting here going, oh my God, almost everyone in Sweden has an above average number of legs? Okay, so let's look at it. Average. Average to you and I means different things possibly. Yeah? Just like to some of you, this word means two different things. To some people, this means ill, unwell. To some people, this means something is great. Words don't always have the same meaning. Yeah? So, let's continue. Why have I drawn 3 lines next to average? 3 meanings. Can you tell me what those are? So, you've hopefully heard mean, median, and mode somewhere before. And if you haven't, you'll get those in the next video. So, 3 words. Well, hang on a second. If there's 3 words, which one do I mean? Okay, so let's have a look at the situation in Sweden by drawing out the Swedish people. Here are some highly accurate Swedish people. They're all incredibly thin. They don't have faces or ears or eyes. And they've got incredibly short arms. I'm not sure how they tie their shoes up actually, but let's ignore that point for a second. Here are Swedish people. You can see me drawing them. I'll even make some into girls. There you go. All with long hair. In fact, there's a boy with long hair. There's a really tall one, really short arms, like a T-Rex. Now, I'm not done drawing Swedish people because there are more than 9 people in Sweden. But watch the 10th person now. This is Sweden drawn out. Okay, let's look at our averages. And I know right now some of you are feeling particularly sorry for this person on the end. Well, I think it's highly likely that something unfortunate has happened here. But as we see with so many famous people, look at Alex Zanardi, for example, the former Formula 1 driver who became a Paralympian, that life isn't about being the same as everybody else. Sometimes it's good to be different. Hence the tall guy and the guy with long hair. Doesn't matter who you are. So, here are our 3 averages. Mean, median, and mode. Okay, let's do mode first, because hopefully you've heard of that one. And mode is the most commonly occurring value. So if I said to you, what is the most commonly occurring number of legs? You're going to say to me, well, there's obviously 2. That's easy. Now, median next. Median is when you order the values and you find the middle. So, let's put these in order. Lowest number first, and then we'll put the higher numbers. Okay, now the middle's somewhere around here. We know that middle value is going to be 2. Okay, actually, when we find the middle value, by carefully counting in, we have to go halfway between these 2. because they're the same number, it doesn't matter. It's 2. So, what about the mean then? Because at the moment, the average number of legs seems to be the same as most people have. Let's use this example then and look at the mean. So if I add these up and divide by the number of values, what do I get? That's how you find the mean. So add them all up and you get 19. Now I chose 10 values to make this easier. So 19 divided by 10 is 1.9. So the mean number of legs is 1.9. And which of these averages do people mean when they say average? Well, the answer is you can mean any of them. Now this isn't like sick, where you're either saying someone is ill or you're complimenting them. This is pretty similar in terms of the word. This is the one most people mean. So if you had 10 quid, I've got 30 quid, and our mate's got 20 quid, the mean is 20 quid. That's the common way of doing it. When someone says average, they tend to actually be referring to mean. So take a look at that mean, 1.9. Now I've got 2 legs. So I've got an above average number of legs. You probably know plenty of people who've got 2 legs. In fact, I reckon almost everyone you know will have 2 legs. Almost everyone. Now, this is dangerous. See how clever that is, that you can create a statement that is true, because almost everyone does have more than 1.9 legs, but is also useless. If any of you have ever seen the film Anchorman, there's a famous line in it by Brian Fantana where he says 60% of the time it works every time. And that's genius, because what you remember is it works every time. But does it work every time? No, it works 60% of the time. So stats is amazing because you can manipulate situations and you can change how people think. Or you can get to the bottom of useless facts and you can unpick when lies are being told. And in part 2 of stats, we're going to look at some simple examples of how you can dig into data to get to the bottom of something.